The year 1979 was historic in the women's rights movement. This was the year when nations around the world joined together at the United Nations and passed a global treaty called CEDAW, or Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women.
So what is it? It's an international treaty for the rights of women, and it's the most complete treaty that overrules all rights of women. So it's like the Bible for women's rights. CEDAW was drafted in cooperation with representatives of various nations and cultural backgrounds. So it was not just a Western thing. It was actually developed by the Commission on Status of Women, and they actually came together, and there were virtually a lot of different countries and traditions and backgrounds that all came together to write this. And on July 17th, our president at the time, Jimmy Carter, actually signed it. Now, due to the way the United States works, we have not actually ratified this. So CEDAW and all it seeks to do and everything about it does not apply here.
The United States is only one of 7 countries in the world that has not ratified CEDAW. The 30th anniversary of the CEDAW and the 15th anniversary of the landmark UN Women's Conference in Beijing was turned into a groundbreaking meeting to take stock of women's rights in North Carolina and renew the resolve to win the U.S. support for ratification of CEDAW. This meeting took place at Raleigh-based Interact office on February 15, 2010, and included presentations from 4 women students.
Richard Robbins said it best. The informal slogan of the Decade of Women is that women do 2/3 of the world's work, receive 10% of the world's income, and own only 1% of the means of production.
What is domestic violence? Domestic violence can mean physical abuse, but can also include such things as emotional abuse, which is name-calling and put-downs, threats, or physical or of emotional harm, or if children are involved, to take the children, intimidation, actions to put one in fear of what might happen, isolation, controlling behavior over another's actions, sexual abuse, forcing one to do sexual acts against their will, economic abuse, controlling how money is spent, or withholding money from one so they cannot meet their basic needs, using the children, making one feel guilty about their children, and using custody or visitation as harassment, using male privilege, rigid views of roles and duties of men and women, and expecting certain things.
In 2005, the Domestic Violence Victims Empowerment Act, also known as DVVEA, was created to help protect women of domestic violence. And since 2004, North Carolina has passed laws requiring mandatory arrest and even prosecution upon domestic violence. Domestic violence is not a symptom, but a cycle that has the potential to be discycled.
This event also served as the public launching of WomenNC, a North Carolina-based grassroots organization committed for the U.S. ratification of CEDAW.
I had always been looking for a way to bridge this gap by connecting the global leadership and international non-governmental organizations to the grassroots level activities in North Carolina. As a result, last year I initiated a group called North Carolina Committee for CEDAW and CSW, which was later called Women for North Carolina, or WomenNC.
Approximately 70 people who gathered for the event received the presentations warmly, which was followed by a question and answer session.
When you get home, or as you're driving home and you think of those questions, turn the questions into action. Decide what you're going to do about it. Imagine the worst and the best answers and make the best answers come true.
And the ratification of CEDAW will no longer remain to be done. Let's ratify CEDAW. CEDAW, our country should ratify right away. We're for CEDAW. It's good for the whole USA.